The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
Blowing out of the backfield, exploding down the sideline.
This is Hangin' with the Boys, presented by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. Now, your hosts, Jesse Holley, Kurt Daniels, and Nate Newton.
Welcome back. It is Tuesday. It feels like a while away, I should say, it's been a long time. The game wasn't Sunday, wasn't Saturday, wasn't Monday. It was last Thursday, so it feels like we've been kind of whatever. But that's a live look at the Tostitos Championship Plaza outside in front of the Ford Center, where currently it is 67 degrees. High today will be 68 degrees. The Texas weather is acting the way it's supposed to. Welcome back, gentlemen. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy 2023 to you, Nate.
You know what, man? I'm going to be courteous and say Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Folks, but I had a little trouble with my iPad, and Chris was helping me, and me and him was having a conversation. And Jesse gave me the Uncle Nate look, like, once
I wasn't
again.
sure we were going to get on the show.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure we were going to make it on the show today either. The way you were over there struggling with that. But
It's okay, Jesse. I thought, boy.
but such
One minute
is
he giving me a cake, and the next minute he's stabbing with an 8-inch blade.
This segment is brought to you by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. All right, so if you live on planet Earth and you have any connection to anything, then you heard about what happened last night. And, you know, it's when you sent this run sheet in, I was trying to figure out ways, okay, like, how do we approach this? Mm-hmm. And there is no way to truly approach it. And what we saw last night in the Monday Night Football matchup between the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals, for all of us who have watched football, who've been a part of football, like Nate and I, myself, it seemed to be a routine play.
Yes.
It seemed to be a routine catch. Receiver turns up the field. DB comes to make the tackle on a routine play. But in that moment, there wasn't a routine result where the guy gets up, they jaw, they go back and forth, they go back to their huddles, they play another down. On this particular play, Damar Hamlin, after he makes the tackle, he shoots up, and then he passes out. And been around football my whole life. Never seen a situation like this before, to where CPR had to be administered on the football field. And as you're watching the broadcast, you see visibly hurt players, emotionally disturbed players. There are tears. There are a look of shock of what is happening on the football field to their teammate, to their fraternity brother that we have in this National Football League. And, you know, it's a sudden reminder that while we see super heroic things be done on the football field, while we see these men that are able to bounce back from injuries that will put the common man in the hospital, while we see, and you have terms of, you know, warrior and soldier and all those type of things to describe football players, football environment, last night was a very clear indication that we are merely men. We are merely men. We're not machines. We're not superhuman. We're not superheroes. And as I'm watching this thing unfold, I'm emotional because I've never seen anything like this before. And then you realize from the gate that football is not important. That football is a child's game that we as grown-ups get an opportunity to play, and you as adult fans get a chance to watch, but it's just a game. And last night, and still today, there is a man whose life is lingering from a child's game. And I even thought the NFL last night waited too long to cancel the game. But I get it. I understand there's a lot of stuff happening. There is no playbook for this. And, I wanted to give us an opportunity to get our thoughts out. Thoughts and prayers to the Hamlin family. Even though it was an away game, his mom was in attendance last night. Mm-hmm. His family was in attendance last night. There's a video that shows him running to the sideline to showing love to his family before the game. And I don't think there was ever a shadow of a doubt that in this moment, in this game tonight, that they would find their loved one fighting for his life on the football field. Kurt, is there anything that what did you feel in that moment?
I wasn't watching it at the time, and so I was starting to get, I was checking the account later and starting getting the word. I actually had a friend call us and was like, what happened? What's happening? So then I went back and checked. So it's scary, and it's even more so, I would think, as players. You've been there and you've seen guys. Earlier that day, Josh Sweat had been carted off the field, or the day before, taken to a hospital. And you see Tua and his problems in Miami. It's a dangerous sport that we often forget because we had derived such pleasure and joy of watching football players perform. But yeah, it's a stark reality, like you said, that in the end, it's a game, and it's just ordinary men playing a game in some way, in aspects. And so it's kind of a reality check of what players and what you two faced when you were playing. It was tough.
I'm not going to be long on this, fellas. When I first saw it, I just, wow. I thought, like you, Jess, routine. He'll get up. He didn't get up. First of all, I feel a little bit different. I think the NFL handled it excellent. I think the way the broadcast team and everybody did, I think they handled it excellent for what, like you say, no book has been written. So they handled it excellent. When I saw it and then I realized the impact of it, then I thought, like, wow. And I told my wife, I got a kid that stopped because of concussion. My other baby boy, he played, he made it through. And I prayed for him. I prayed for his family. I asked my wife to do the same. I asked that everybody pray for this situation. And then I turned the TV off. And I went to bed because this is in God's hands. So that's just my point of view.
Yeah, no, and you're right. And shout out to that that broadcasting crew. It was Troy and Joe Buck were calling the game. And then back in the studio, you had Susie Colbert, you had Adam Schefter and Booger McFarland. You had Lisa Salters as the sideline reporter. And you could see and hear on their faces, and you can hear in their voices the concern, the heartfelt emotion that went into trying to report. I've never watched an NFL game where they went to 4 commercial breaks. Like, it was to that point where they didn't even want, and I applaud ESPN for that, for not even wanting to show it.
Yeah.
Or, because again, there's family members back home, and when you don't have an opportunity to know what's happening, you don't want things to be speculated. And you don't want your fear and your worry to become greater when you're watching the players on the football field. And then those players deserve that little bit of privacy as they're having that moment of vulnerability. Again, because you see these guys, Josh Allen can throw the ball a mile and Stephon Diggs can run the best routes. And these guys are on the field crying.
Yeah.
They're visibly hurt at what they're seeing and understand, when you talk about the Tua situations and even a situation like a couple years ago with Ryan Shazier, who happened on that same football field, at times when someone gets up or even when they're carted off, you kind of get the thumbs up, to kind of ease you a little bit, or, you get a report that they're awake, that they're breathing. But when you have a situation like this where, to be frank, if CPR is being administered, that means that person is not breathing. Mm-hmm. That means that person is not with us. They're not. It's far greater than looking for a thumbs up.
Yeah.
And this was going on for a while. This was going on for minutes, which probably seemed like hours to those who were involved. Mm-hmm. for the businesses that I'm in, we have to go and do a CPR training and get our things renewed year in and year out. And to understand what it means to have to sit there and to press down continuously on someone's chest for minutes, that is one, it's exhausting. Two, that tells you the type of shape that he was in that particular moment. And to Nate's point, all we can do now is pray to whatever God that you believe in, to give positive energy and thoughts and prayers to his family, to him. I know some of his teammates would have been there, but this is a situation where it's tough, it's unprecedented, but it is a stark reminder that these men that step on that field each and every week are merely men.
Yeah. How does this, or does it? I mean, obviously his teammates are in a bad place today. They're in a troubled because they've got to come back and they're going to have to play with not knowing their team. But even our team, I mean, does players around the league, does this affect them? Like, I have to go out there and do this.
Yeah. I mean, I promise you, like when you put on your uniform and you strap on your helmet, your thought process isn't going out there of, hey, today this is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, when Dak broke his ankle, he didn't have that in mind when he put on his helmet that day. Mm-hmm. I was a part of when DeMarcus Ware was carted off and we thought he had a serious neck injury. It was in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. No, it was before New Orleans, a few years back, and that was just a scary situation. You see his wife and his children come out the stands crying, and getting on the ambulance with him to drive to the hospital. So as a player, whether you're on that team or not, it gives you that reminder that tomorrow's not promised. Like, this is a violent game. This is a dangerous game. And every single play that you go out there, you don't know the outcome of it. Because, I mean, we've seen that play happen a gazillion times.
Yeah.
And it just so happened on that particular one, something happened. Mm-hmm. Something happened in his body that said,
right,
that's it. In that moment. So it's tough. It is tough, and I wanted to make sure that we gave that its proper due to the Hamlin family. From the Hangin with the Boys crew, we offer our thoughts and our prayers. We're sending them. I was disturbed last night, just trying to get back to sleep with it. It just set with me because 24 years old.
Yeah.
24 years old. Like, life is literally just beginning for this young man who is in his second year in the National Football League, living out a dream. Literally living out a dream of what he's thought about since he was a kid. Mm-hmm. And now he's fighting for his life. So prayers for the family, prayers for Hamlin, prayers for the teammates, prayers for the players that were involved last night. This is a very violent game. And I want people to remember that when you're screaming about fantasy points, when you're screaming about get out there, when you're screaming about that kind of stuff, just know that underneath those helmets, we are merely just men. That's it. We're merely flesh and bone. So don't treat us as if we're these mythical creatures. We're not X-Men. We're merely men. So, all right. We're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll talk more Cowboys, their playoff situations, their playoff scenarios. What do you want? Who do you want? This thing has a couple different ways how it can play out for the Cowboys going forward. Jerry Jones spoke on it. I'm going to get you guys' take on it. But come right back. Stay here with us, hanging with the boys. We'll be right back.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com is one of the most trusted ways to buy, sell, and trade crypto. Whether you're always on the go or stay closer to home, Blockchain.com is just a few taps away. Put the power of crypto in your pocket, so no matter where you are, you can trade on your terms and build a crypto portfolio to fit your life. For crypto pros, rookies, and anyone in between, Blockchain.com makes it easy to own a piece of the future. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team.
SeatGeek has your back no matter what kind of fan you are. So whether you're a diehard fan or a don't really care fan, a we got 'em next time fan or we'll never win again fan, a here for the tailgate fan or a first one through the gates fan, SeatGeek not only makes buying and selling tickets easier than ever before, they made just about everything else easier too. So whether you're a here every week fan or haven't been here in years fan, SeatGeek has you covered. Download the SeatGeek app today. SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Hey Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh tasting, ready to serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
Welcome back to Hanging with the Boys. The Cowboys, what seemed like a month ago, defeated. Who did they play? I forgot. The Philadelphia Eagles? Who did they play?
Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee Titans. I even forgot who they played. They defeated the Tennessee Titans on Thursday Night Football because all the talk has been about the Philadelphia Eagles.
It was 27-13 if you really wanted to know,
No, I did. I did remember that. I was going to say that next. 27-13, the Cowboys defeated the Tennessee Titans and now have set themselves up for a wild scenario.
Yeah.
And Kurt, I want you to break this down because you sent it and how it all can kind of play out for the Cowboys.
Right now, they're the 5th seed.
Correct.
If they win and Philly loses and the 49ers lose, then they would be the 1st seed and get the first round bye.
Okay.
That's my understanding.
And then they'll have their first home game against the Green Bay Packers after the bye.
Well,
correct?
No, they would have the bye and then they'd play the lowest seed after that.
Okay, I got you.
If they don't, or if San Francisco would win, then and they're playing like Arizona or something, so but then the Cowboys would have the number 2 seed, and then they would play the either Packers, the 7th seed, the Lions, or Seattle. So that's all all up in the air.
And if they lose, they stay at the 5th seed and.
If they lose, they're the 5th seed, and they would open up at the 2nd seed, which at that point, I guess it would still be.
Simply put, if Philly win, Philly win, and the 49ers lose, then we got a shot at the 2nd seed.
Yes.
No, if Philly wins, they have the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
We have we're 5. We're locked in at 5.
Right.
If Philly
so
wins.
if both of them lose, we got a shot at the 2nd seed. I'm sorry.
If either
either
lose,
one of
you get
them
number 1.
Yeah, if Philly loses and 49ers win, then we would have the 2nd seed.
Okay, well, forget it.
But if San Francisco loses, we're number 1.
Yeah.
This segment is brought to you by Blockchain, blockchain.com. Walter Payton Man of the Year Award, Dak Prescott of this year's Cowboys nominated the 2022 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award presented by Nationwide, recognizing the NFL for their outstanding community service off the field and excellence on the field. Help Dak Prescott earn a $25,000 donation to his Faith, Fight, Finish Foundation by voting on Twitter. Tweet or retweet the hashtag WPMOY challenge followed by Dak Prescott through January 8th. Vote Dak.
Yeah. And if they're the 5th seed, they play the Buccaneers at Tampa Bay. So the potential is there to face Tom Brady in the first round or Aaron Rodgers in the first round. I don't know if
Jerry was asked about this morning on the flagship station, and they basically said, "Hey Jerry, do you want to go on the road as the 5th seed and take on Tom Brady, who you've never beat in Tom Brady's illustrious career, or do you want to have a home game which would include you now having to play your arch nemesis and the boogeyman, Aaron Rodgers. What do you think Jerry Jones said, Nate?
He want to be home. Jerry want to be home.
What do you think?
I would assume so.
Of
Jerry
course
want to be
he said.
home.
Yeah.
Of course Jerry said he wants to be home.
You know, you once again, you call yourself laughing at Uncle Nate, but that was just a setup to let you know it still ain't bad as what the coach of the Commanders did.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Didn't realize.
And they rolled this man, and I'm like, this man got bigger things on his mind right now than I guess to be worried about that. But hey,
what bigger things in your mind than you having to potentially be eliminated out of the playoffs?
Just bigger things, man. I mean, this dude living a charmed life.
Why they started Wentz.
Yes.
Why they? Yeah. Well, hey, start Wentz again this week, please. Do us a favor and start Wentz again this week so he can give us 3.
For how many years?
They asked him if they were going to start the third stringer this week.
I know, that's my guy.
And that's why he was like, why would we do that? I mean, why? He's like, well, because you'd be out if Green Bay wins. He's like, we'll be out of the playoffs?
Sam
How
Howell.
many years did I defend Carson Wentz?
Yeah.
How many years? For 3 straight years. Give this kid a chance. Now he's had multiple chances. And me and Coach probably the only ones that would give him another chance.
So here comes the conversation now, right? There's 2 conversations to be had. With the Cowboys winning last week and the Jalen Hurts-less Philadelphia Eagles losing last week, the Cowboys have kind of put some pressure back on the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, you have to go out there and win. Now, there's reports that Jalen Hurts might play, might not play. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But for the Cowboys, do you consider going all gas, no brakes, and just being kind of almost a little bit content with the 5th seed and resting guys? Do you go all gas, no brakes, and play all your guys and continue to put the pressure back on those other teams because you and Philadelphia will be playing at the same time. So you won't know the outcome of what the game will be until after you both are done playing. It's not like you
49ers too are at the same time.
At the same time.
Unless it's an obvious blowout.
I see what you did there too, NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unless it's an obvious blowout. You're making everybody play.
Right.
But the bottom line is this right here.
But let me finish. Should the Cowboys full all gas, no brakes, play all their guys to the finish, or kind of almost concede and say, "Man, I don't want to get some significant guys either banged up or more banged up than they already are. Let's just hold tight and keep some of these guys out and give them a chance to rest up for next week."
If they don't have Jalen Hurts, they're going to lose. We got to go in there and play. We got to let the coaches and Mr. Jones them scoreboard watch. And if it's an obvious blowout, then you start taking your guys out. If it's an obvious blowout by Philadelphia, you start taking your guys out. If not, you go full tilt. You go full because they're playing the Giants, right?
Correct.
The Giants gonna go full tilt. The Giants trying to change their culture.
And the Giants have already secured a playoff spot.
Yeah, but they trying to change their culture. If they resting people, they just gonna return back to who they originally was a year ago. You got to come out and play. But this is coming from a guy who believed that the more you win, the better you become. The more you win in the right, correct way, the better you become. So now they may not be thinking that way, but Coach Dabo has all of a sudden got people thinking that way. So I'm thinking they're gonna come at the Philadelphia Eagles.
Kurt?
Yeah, I think so as well. They have to go all. They have to put the pedal to the metal and go all out. I mean, they could get they get that number 1 seed. They get the bye. They get that first round bye. So that that's something they desperately need to get some guys healthy and all that. So unless it's a blowout or maybe the 49ers are blowing their opponent out. I think they play the whole game, and if not, it's maybe late in the game they give them a rest. But otherwise, we're going to see them. We're going to see them go. They'd better get out there and go.
It's a very interesting proposition because you do have to weigh the risk and reward. You wanna find yourself in a situation where, hey, give ourselves the best chance to potentially move up. But there is a factor in a game that, hey, at any given time, an ankle, shoulder, and I know people are going to say Scared money don't make money. I'm just playing devil's advocate here, people. I have to be a host. I have to give both sides of the spectrum at times. So just trying to play both of those things. Now, they go all gas, no brakes, play all of their guys. Is there something to be said about how those guys perform? Because you're still playing a division opponent. You're still playing the Washington Commanders. I think there's still going to be a toughness, about that game because, Washington wants to have some pride about themselves and ending their year on a good note. And, of course, the Cowboys want to have some pride in themselves and in their year and give themselves a chance to continue on their path. Is there a concern? Will there be a concern if the Cowboys play all of their guys and we see one of those games where it's like, here they go. They're struggling again. Those 2-3 turnovers happened in that game again. It didn't look all as good, but they eked out a 6-point victory.
Yeah, so that's who they are. We keep trying to make the Cowboys something. I'm gonna come in here and I'm stating the obvious. I'm black.
What?
Short hair.
What?
I've been this way for like 61 years. I'm not coming in here tomorrow and all of a sudden be looking like Kurt. It ain't happening. The Cowboys are
have to change shirts first.
They are. Okay? We act like the Cowboys for the last 10 games, the last 10 games have guaranteed you 2 turnovers, and they have gotten almost 2 turnovers. So it's been a push. We've guaranteed how we play, it's going to be a struggle. We've played that way for the last 9 games because Minnesota was different. But all the other games has been this exact same way. Now, they may change in the playoffs, but
can they flip that switch? It
ain't no switch. This is who they are.
This should be a playoff game now, right? This is a playoff game.
Yeah, this ain't no switch. This is who they are.
So how will they change it in the playoffs if they can't change it now?
You saying they're gonna lose in the playoffs because they've been winning with this combination of how they've been playing.
Okay, yeah,
they've been winning. See, I refuse to go to bed again saying maybe this time it won't happen. No, maybe this time it will happen, and maybe this time we'll still win. What are you looking for? Tell me, besides a perfect game of no turnovers, they cut down on the penalties, but no turnovers. When has it happened?
Yeah,
Come on, y'all.
The Minnesota game was about it.
Come on, y'all. You either gonna accept who you are, or you gonna get disappointed.
I did find it funny. I was reading some stuff from Philadelphia about their game, and they were like, the writers are like, yes, Hurts didn't play, but this team had no energy. They were ho-hum. They played down to their opponent. It's like everything we're saying.
Right. Yes.
It's the same thing.
I'm going to tell you something, fellas. Our defense is beat up. You either go into that game and this, Jesse, I'm hoping this was your mindset. You either go into that game full bore trying to win it and let the coaches do the scoreboard, or you go into that game half-hearted and ain't nothing going to work right. Ain't nothing going to work right. So you got to go into this game full bore. You got to give it all you got and play the best you can play. Now, whether that's turnovers or no turnovers, whether that's getting 1,000 turnovers or no turnovers, you got to go into this game full bore because I got to think New York is going to play. They're going to play because I remember a New York team not too far in the distance was in the same shoes. They had better players. Started a playoff run that didn't end into the Super Bowl. So that coach may go and say, hey, I know I wasn't the coach, but remember this year, 90-something or 90, well, I don't know when it was, in that last Super Bowl. But they made a run. Come on, man. It's about who you are now and what you're trying to improve upon. Because that same team we watching last night, Cincinnati, remember we thumped them. This team turned this stuff around so well So they truly have a chance at a Super Bowl. They truly have a chance. I don't think we have a chance. I think we just a second-round team waiting to be knocked off. That's just how I feel.
Doesn't sound like Homer Nate.
No, I'm like I said, when I do the show, I try to be as real as possible. Towards the end of the show, I turn into Homer Nate. Yeah, I try to do it as real as possible. I mean.
All right, so here's what we're going to talk about on the other side of this break. Dan Quinn came out, and he talked about something that they need to improve on. This defense, as you stated, have been beat up. So Dan Quinn has come out, and he has some suggestions of some of the things that they need to do a little bit better to help themselves.
I'm waiting on this.
At the end of the season and potentially in the playoffs.
I'm waiting on this.
But it starts this week. Stay right here with us. I'll tell you what those things are and what he said on the other side of this break. This is Hanging with the Boys. We'll be right back.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
SeatGeek has your back no matter what kind of Cowboys fan you are. So whether you're a diehard fan or a don't really care fan, a we got 'em next time fan or we'll never win again fan, a here for the tailgate fan or a first one through the gates fan, SeatGeek not only makes buying and selling tickets easier than ever before, they made just about everything else easier too. So whether you're a here every week fan or haven't been here in years fan, SeatGeek has you covered. Download the SeatGeek app today. SeatGeek, your ticket to great Dallas Cowboys seats.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com is one of the most trusted ways to buy, sell, and trade crypto. Whether you're always on the go or stay closer to home, Blockchain.com is just a few taps away. Put the power of crypto in your pocket, so no matter where you are, you can trade on your terms and build a crypto portfolio to fit your life. For crypto pros, rookies, and anyone in between, Blockchain.com makes it easy to own a piece of the future. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team.
Hey, Cowboys fans, if you're thinking about attending a game this season, visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today. Stay at the team hotel, have dinner with a Cowboys legend, and experience AT&T Stadium's exclusive VIP Owners Club. Also, tour the Star, get autographs from your favorite players, and talk X's and O's with me, Mickey Spagnola. The official travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys will take care of all your travel needs. Visit cowboystravel.com.
Back to Hanging with the Boys.
On this lovely Tuesday, we welcome you back to Hanging with the Boys as we continue to get into this Cowboys week. We talked about everything. We talked about the Damar Hamlin situation. We talked about the offense. We talked about the playoff scenario, which we still don't understand, but that's all good. The Cowboys just have to go out there and do what they're supposed to do and win. Just win.
So if the Eagles lose and the 49ers lose, what's the best we can get?
Eagles lose and 49ers lose, and we
get the
win.
one seed.
We get the one seed.
All right. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
So now Homer Nate is about to crank up.
But I think in order for this football team to realistically make this run that we talked about, the break the Giants made a couple years ago, or any playoff run, yes, you're going to need your offense to be clicking on all cylinders. Maybe Dak turn on some of those turnovers. Maybe the receivers the pass catchers catch some of the balls and not let them hit you in the chest and bounce into the defender's hands. But you're going to need this defense to play back to where they were earlier in the year. When Dak Prescott was out for those 5 games, this was the best defense, or arguably the best defense in all of football. It really was. They were getting to the quarterback. They didn't have as many turnovers, but they were just lights out. They had quarterbacks terrified.
Yeah.
They had quarterbacks shook. And then it seemed like when Dak came back, it was like they took a breath. Some guys got hurt. And then they didn't seem to be as fearful as they once were. And then they went on a stretch where they had 1 sack in 3 games and giving up 450-plus yards, 30 points a game. It was a weird, and it wasn't against these dominant type of teams. Like they didn't play like Buffalo and Kansas City and Cincinnati back to back to back. It was some Rudy Poos in there. It might have been a booty juice or two in there, But they were giving up a ton of points. And my Jersey guy, Dan Quinn, of course, his name is circulating around the league about potential head coaching jobs for next year. But he understands that I have a job to do right now. And Nate, you're going to love this because you alluded to this last week. So Dan Quinn comes out. Holy moly, I just looked up at that light and looked back down at the notes, and I can't see him. Man, okay, Dan Quinn came out, and they said they've got work to do on stunts and trapping a quarterback inside. So working on their stunts, working on their quarterback, keeping them in the pocket, not giving up containment. Now, my question to you both, is that a technique thing, a talent thing, or a want to? Dan Quinn can teach it, but is it a talent, technique, or want to thing on the guys that he's teaching it to, and can they get it done on the field on Sunday?
They're going to have to, because where you was fortunate enough with all those teams that you named and eloquent names that you gave them.
The booty juices.
They were easy. You could start lacking. When I'm doing a in tackle stunt and I'm going in first, the end is coming first. That means the end, if it turned into a run, that end has to automatically come into a two-gap situation and try to stop that play in the middle. But this tackle that's looping outside, if this is an outside running play, you got to go try to run out there to get that edge. And that's the same thing in the pass. You don't, you see a little gap right behind the end that's coming in, then you run right beside the end. That's just like on special teams. You're in the same lane.
Yeah.
You still got to get outside. That's what my band did 2 weeks ago. Parsons, the alien. That's what he did.
Can our defensive tackles do that? Can you ask a big guy like that?
You have to, because if you don't,
running back on the inside.
If you don't, now you're getting punished on the outside. Now if you don't, you got a quarterback that's running out there. Everybody ain't gonna be Minshew or whatever his name, samurai guy. Ain't gonna be him. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. I always wanted to call him the samurai guy.
Did you call him the samurai guy?
Yeah, Minshew. I like that. But anyway, the better quarterbacks would get outside, break, contain, and put that ball on the target. The guys that we will play in the playoffs will be able to break, contain when you go to doing all these stunts. Even with games, even with blitzes, you still have a responsibility. You can't rush everybody inside and just leave the outside open. Somebody got to come up and contain. And you got to know that as a player. And yes, it may put you in a bad position. It may not be the perfect position, but you got to do everything in your power to make sure you hold up your part as best you can and as athletically as you can.
We've been talking about the team. They are who they are. They play up and down to this, and changing that is not going to be possible. Is this who they are as a pass rushing unit now? And you're not going to be able to change it.
No, you can change that.
Yeah.
That's just a matter of like I asked Jesse off the air. I say, is Dak capable of not throwing at least one interception a game? Does he believe? And I'm putting it all on me, not on Jesse, because I don't want nobody saying, "Hey, this is what Jesse, this is what I thought of," and we just was talking.
Right.
I'm like, is this possible for him to go through a game? And Jesse said yes, and I'm looking at him. He said, "Now, will he?" That is the question. If somebody gonna sit down and say, Dak, that throw you made there in the game, bro, that was in double coverage, and that would have took a Nolan Ryan type arm to get that ball down through there, and it had to be a baseball because a football ain't gonna fit. Yeah. As I'm right,
you're right.
And so who gonna tell Dak that? Dak is a hell of a quarterback when he plays within himself, and when he gets outside himself, he's an average guy. And that's just what it is. Now, do he want to play within himself and be the superstar that I know he was or can be? That's up to him.
What does that mean for him to play within himself? To rely on the run game or the pass? Do you keep the passes short?
He used to be very instinctive. He could feel when the pocket was breaking down, and he would know just enough to move and get rid of the ball into something short. Or he would just take off and run, get what he can, and slide to the ground. That was the Dak I used to be in love with. I'm like, okay, it was 3rd and 7. Now it's 4th and 2. It's a decision that, depending on where you're at the field, you can be made. But now it's 3rd and 7. We'll throw it 20 yards down the field and a high percentage pass that ain't be. Now we have no options but to punt. Or we'll force something down in there like we got a 30-6, and we have no options because we got an interception. And I'm just speaking real. But back to the defense. That's more important right now. Back to your defensive thing. I'm sorry.
No, it's defensively fixing those small things.
What else?
With us.
What else? You said we got the games and stunts.
Yeah, I'm saying but that's the games and stunts, and then being able the Trayvon Diggs and those guys on the back end, they were successful in my opinion because of the way that the pass rush got home. Because now I can sit back there as a DB and know and believe he got 3 seconds for this ball to come out.
That's the most.
So at the most, he got 2.5.
Right.
So I can sit on everything. I can break on everything because they don't have time to go through 3-4 different reads. If he looked this way, it's coming. If he turned this way, it's coming. Now, I know Diggs has been beat a lot of times on those double moves, but that's when they match protect it up, give you a little something. But for the most part, if you want that back end to be, especially being able to hide those wounds with Anthony Brown now out, and you're still trying to figure out who's going to play in those spots, it's imperative that pass rush gets home. That's going to have to be the calling card for this defense, for that pass rush to kind of ignite that fuse that it once had of those guys getting off the football and getting to the quarterback.
So much, it seems like opponents now have changed their game plan where they're getting rid of the ball real quick. Can the secondary help? I mean, do they play up, bump them at the line of scrimmage more? I mean, how do you help an offensive line when they have even less time to get to the quarterback?
Defensive line. Yeah, it's all about the timing. Because if I have to make them hurry up, then anything that disrupts their timing gives me a slight advantage of getting to the quarterback. We've seen it and we watched it time and time again before where, edge rushers or interior rushers where they're like just so close from getting that strip sack. And it's like, boy, if he had a half or more second, that thing he would have been right there. And that's because on the back end of it, the timing was disrupted. We see Dak do it at times where he get ready to he looking at something, he get ready to throw it, and then he goes, ooh, nope. I can't throw there because they've given them something that's thrown off the timing of where these footballs should go. So for them, it's come up, it's disguised a little bit better, it's bumping a little bit better, it's have guys flashing in and out of those windows that the quarterback is trying to look into, and just to make him have to second guess himself just a hair longer, so that way you're able to get in there and your defensive pass rushers are able to get in there and create a little bit of havoc.
It's so complicated.
It's so simple yet so complicated.
Almost no intricacies.
I'm going to tell you something. And Coach Johnson used to talk about it a lot. He said, when you have great players, simplify it as possible. When 80% of your team is better than their team, you can simplify it as possible as much as you can.
Interesting.
But if you have lesser players, you got to hope that they're ultra smart above the neck.
Right.
So you can add a few more gadgets and a few more things. When Tom Brady was at the Patriots, they look for that type of player. They may be a little bit less talented, but they were ultra smart.
Yep.
And so that is what we have to find out who we are. Are we that type of team that's ultra talented and we can just fit the scheme? That ain't us on defense anymore. We're not that. We have two guys that are ultra talented. And the other guys have to pay attention to detail. And that's what Coach is talking about.
I like it. All right. That'll end it for us. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we're going to do Cowboys offense, the Washington Commanders defense. Cowboys offense. You looking at me like I said?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm riding with you, dog. I'm riding with you.
Why you
I can't concentrate on you.
Not like that. You look like crazy, like a crazy man looking at me like you about to bite me in the face or something.
Well, you know what? That's when I keep my head down when you be talking. See,
he like this. I'm gonna say he like this.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to continue a thought when you looking at me like this? Tomorrow, Cowboys
when I don't
offense,
look at him, he turning Kurt. When I look at him,
no, look at me. You don't have to.
I'll stare you. You blink my eyes.
Yeah, blink something. Move. Cowboys offense, Commanders defense. We'll be right back here. Same bat station, same bat time. I didn't do it in the intro, so I'll do it here.
Did we feel?
We didn't feel today.
Did we YouTube?
We didn't YouTube either. We didn't feel and we didn't YouTube.
We took care of that kid in prayers.
We did. We took care of Hamlin and his family in prayers. We definitely did that. But for Chris, for Audio Jazz, for Broham, William, Willie, Will.
Friday we'll get to.
Friday we'll get to your boy computer. Nah. Friday we'll get the computer.
Hey, computer. Nah.
Don't be sensitive in 2023, computer. I mean, you're all our guys.
Yep.
Boy, I knew you weren't going to let this show in without trying to.
He is Nate. That is Kurt. I am Jesse. Together we are hanging with the boy, the sports talk equivalent of Braille. People feel us when
computer.
we speak. Until tomorrow, we out.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?